Hi, I'm Kyla Epstein with Sumerick & Associates. Welcome to my YouTube series, Working Moms, where we feature moms who are killing it in the workplace as well as raising little ones at home. Today we will be chatting with Lauren Andrew, the owner, lead planner, and reverend of Lauren Andrew Events since 2017. Do you want to tell us a bit about everything that you do?
Sure, so it's a lot. So as you mentioned, I started Lauren Andrew Events Corporation in 2017, where I started just planning and executing weddings and other small events. Since having my first baby in 2020 while I was off, I did some studying and became a reverend. So now I'm able to also officiate wedding ceremonies with my couples, which is really exciting.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So how many weddings have you done since getting your certification?
So since being ordained in the fall of 2020, I've married over 30 couples, and I think I'm marrying somewhere between 30 and 40 this year.
Oh my gosh, that is exciting. Love is in the air.
It is. Everyone is excited to be in a post-COVID world.
Yes, that is great. So have you had to adjust your service or?
So yeah, it was interesting. I think the wedding industry as a whole, people were very nervous as to what was going to happen during COVID. The exciting things were all of the people that we worked with were getting married because they loved each other. So there was no such thing as a bridezilla or a couple that was just in it for an after party. So weddings happened. They were just much more on the down low than what people had expected before COVID. And now it's like a wedding boom. I think we're planning to see more weddings than we ever have since some ridiculous number like 1985. So myself and my team, I think we have over 75 days worth of weddings and rehearsals that are happening over the next 365 days.
Oh my gosh, that is crazy. And so you want to tell us a little bit about your guy?
Sure. So JJ was born on the day Ontario shut down. So he was born on March 16th, 2020. So we went into Soldiers Memorial with the world one way and left, and it looked like a zombie apocalypse.
Oh my gosh, I have goosebumps.
Yeah. So he's the epitome of a COVID baby.
Yes.
So he just had his second birthday last week.
And were able to celebrate with family?
We were for the
Good.
first time, which was super exciting. But we have family overseas, and I remember it was not until he was a year and a half that we met all of our family, which was really sad.
It has been tough.
Yeah.
And how have you been managing that, like mentally? Because I know I've struggled, like with the masks and.
I think because it was my first, I had nothing to compare it to.
Yes.
So I think motherhood is a trip on its own. So really, because myself and my husband didn't know what to expect, it wasn't like we were mourning what we thought parenthood was going to be. So we hope that when we do this again and have another kid, that we will be able to experience some of those things that other parents were talking to us about.
Oh, that's a great point.
Yeah.
And so I guess going back to the work-life parent balance, how do you balance everything? Because you wear many hats.
Many hats. So I have the events business. I just co-founded a modern afterlife solutions business called Awake with a really good friend of mine. And I still have a full-time job. So that and balancing a home life with my husband and my son has been difficult. And I think that I have to work harder on finding what that balance is. So I would tell anyone who asks that I don't have balance. I think that's very clear. But the small things like turning off notifications on my phone, no longer getting emails to my phone, putting on an out of office and making it very aware that I have working hours at least calms me down a little bit.
Oh, that's a great tip. I like that about the notifications is a big one for
Huge
sure.
one. Yeah.
And I try not to be on my phone in front of Harper, like, because I don't want her to think I'm just scrolling. And
but I find myself doing it all the time.
I know. I say that, and then I'm like, then I'm all of a sudden on Instagram. I'm like, why am I looking at this?
Exactly. It's a habit, and it's scary when your kid knows how to use your phone better than you do.
I know.
That's when you know you have to stop.
Yes, I know. So, would you say raising kids teach you skills that you can apply in the workplace, especially because you have a team who works with you?
I think that there's a patience aspect for sure.
Yes.
I think what I've learned since having a kid and going through even childbirth was that things that I thought were a big deal or a problem before, it really is nothing. At the end of the day, not a brain surgeon. I'm not doing brain surgery, so little things that used to give me a lot of anxiety before, I just learned to let it brush off my shoulders. So I think I can give that to my son for teaching me those things.
Honestly, the patience is huge. Like sometimes my mom will be like, "Oh, you've changed." I was like, "It's kids.
Yeah. You're not going crazy. No, I'm fine."
Exactly. What advice would you give for other working moms?
I think the biggest piece of advice is that although it can feel like you're juggling 1,000 things, if you really want to continue working for yourself and have a family, it can be done, but it is a lot of work. And I think, like you have mentioned, it's finding that balance when you are with your kids, because they notice. They know when you're on your phone. They know when you're not paying attention, especially when they're talking and they yell at you until you pay attention. So you can feel really bad if you're not. I think the main thing is I knew that working for myself was a big part of my life, and I think I would have regrets if I didn't try it. So if you have the right support system, you should just try to make it work.
That's a great. And why should you put your career on hold? Just like, I think you can do it both. It's just we have to figure it out and talk.
Exactly.
Normalize
ask for help.
it.
Yeah, ask for help. Realize that how you do it is probably not going to be the way that I do it, and vice versa. But being able to have people in your life, because I don't have a ton of friends with kids, and seeing what works for them has really helped me.
And that's great. Yeah. I know. And it's just surrounding yourself with other moms, like who, if your friends aren't, but then like expanding your network.
Exactly.
On like, hey, did JJ do this?
Or is this weird?
Most times they did.
Yeah.
I think the last piece I want to talk about is mom guilt.
Yes.
Just because this is something that I think a lot of women hide and they don't talk freely about it. Mm-hmm. How do you have mom guilt?
All the time.
Okay.
It's a real thing.
Check. And how do you deal with it? I think we're still learning, right? I don't know.
I think so, and it's really unfortunate that it's even called mom guilt.
I know.
I think the main thing is that, and I hate to use the word societal standards, but we're all expected to have kids whether you want them or not. And then when you do, you're expected to jump back into normal life the way it was before that child ever existed, which is hilarious when you think about it, because nothing in your life is the same. So you're constantly thinking about, I think I have guilt on both sides, where I feel like I don't work the way I used to because I have a child, and I don't give him enough time because I'm working. So I think it's kind of what you said in working with what that balance is, but I also think it's been nice finding moms who are also in the same sphere in regards to entrepreneurship, and then having our kids hang out and kind of figuring out ways that you can balance it that way. It also helps that I have a partner who's super supportive of my work, so I know that our child gets a lot of attention. But the mom guilt thing is real. I don't have an answer as to how to combat it, but I think having my son specifically see that mom worked so hard and this is why she did it, it's because she loves it. It's not just to bring food to the table. I think hopefully that'll mean, for your daughter, there's no such thing as mom guilt.
Yeah, that's I was just thinking that as you were explaining it, like, can we pave the way, since like we have to work, price of living, price of groceries, you need both members if you have the partnership to be working. So we can't stay at home and be fortunate to have 24. Honestly though, I couldn't stay at home. So I give my mom kudos for being a stay-at-home mom when I was younger, because I personally I just crave, because we have had to work our whole upbringing, right? Where it's just different times.
Yeah.
So if we can pave the way for our kids, them seeing and knowing that JJ has Josh, who is very supportive of his wife, and Eric, who's supportive of his, I think that will really help shape the young kids that we're bringing into this
I hope so. If that's anything that we can do, hopefully we can eliminate the term mom guilt.
It's a good goal
for the next generation.
Thank you for joining me, Lauren, on today's episode of Working Moms. Just to let everyone know, I'm going to be taking a little bit of a break since the baby is definitely ready to make their grand entrance into the world. So stay tuned for more episodes to come, hopefully May, June, this summer. See you then.